Welcome, welcome. Friday, the 13th of December, and that'll be about it for the San Francisco 49ers. Welcome to Damon Bruce Plus. We're brought to you by Ike Sandwiches. Today's live stream being also powered by BetUS, where I will not be betting on the 49ers anymore this season unless I'm betting against them. What an incredible letdown last night. I mean, as bad of an offensive game as Kyle Shanahan has coached in this league with the 49ers, as bad of a game plan as I think we've ever seen. Force-feeding Deebo Samuel in the week that he says, hey, everybody, I'm still the man over here. You just forgot how to get me the ball. Well, that was proven wildly incorrect. There was nothing that Deebo Samuel did in that game that I think merits any more further investment in him. As a matter of fact, protect the investment and don't play him again this year. I would rather have Jacob Cowing do nothing than Deebo Samuel do anything, because winning football games is no longer part of what's best for this team going forward. And figuring out exactly who you are going forward with is a very important thing. And now, whether you're bringing Deebo back next year or not, like, that choice has pretty much already been made, right? You know, if you think that there's value to be had there, you will have him back because he's already restructured and it might cost more to walk away than retain him. But he can't be your starting wide receiver anymore because that guy kind of sucks now. Anyone else notice that? I have. Speaking of that guy kind of sucks now, let's talk about De'Vondre Campbell, because De'Vondre Campbell has actually done more to help the 49ers in the last 24 hours than he has in any of the previous hours he spent there. The amount of heat that would be coming down on Kyle, on Brock, on this team, on the front office, on ownership, the amount of heat that would be coming down would be insufferable if there weren't just an awful lot of low-hanging fruit anger that was easy to express at De'Vondre Campbell, who I do need to let you know should never be allowed in the building ever again. De'Vondre Campbell should have had his helmet taken at the end of the tunnel. Someone should have ripped or cut that uniform right off him and said, just keep walking until you get to your car. When you get in your car, keep driving. Do not ever come back. You quitting bitch-ass motherfucker. And every single 49er, people are telling me that Kyle lost the locker room. No, De'Vondre Campbell lost that locker room last night. There is nobody who will ever want to dig into a foxhole with that guy ever again in this league. I don't think we see De'Vondre Campbell play another football game in his life. I said earlier on Wake Up with Kruger, the only other guy I can think of who has quit mid-game was Vernon Davis's brother. He quit on the Buffalo Bills, like at halftime of a Buffalo Bills game. So that happened. And then someone said, well, what about Antonio Bryant? Like, he quit right, like got naked and stripped off the field and left. And that's the last time we ever saw him. Yeah, but like, he was also having a break from mental reality at the same time too. So, I mean, that was a little more unique. I disqualify him from any rational football conversations. Like, that guy was unpredictable at all times. De'Vondre Campbell, fuck you, dude. I mean, there's nothing more that I ever want to see out of you. There is nothing more that any of your teammates will ever want out of you. You will never be invited back to the company picnic. You're NFL dead. De'Vondre Campbell murdered whatever reputation he had ever hoped to take into his retirement with that one move alone. It takes a lifetime to build up a reputation in only a small handful of minutes to totally ruin it. And that's what you saw happen last night. He has run so much distraction, though, because it's easy for all sports talk hosts to look at that guy and wag their finger and shame, 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 because it's all true. Everything your dad ever told you about seeing something through by not quitting, by not letting people down by quitting on them, that's on full display. So it's easy to look at that and go, that's not good. That's got to go. And as I was saying with Larry, the positions that I normally take about how, you don't want to move on from Kyle Shanahan, and I still don't think you do. And you really don't want to move on from Brock Purdy, but boy, Brock Purdy at 60 is a bigger sounding number than it should be. Last night was a kind of game that made me just say, I think you should go forward with these guys, but let's not have a conversation. Kyle Shanahan is a good coach. He's not the only good football coach in America. Brock Purdy is still in the small handful of guys that I think are good quarterbacks in the world. But is he in that small handful of guys that should be, in the line of guys that completely resets the market? I don't know. I saw this from Josh Dubow last night, and this is about as concerning a Brock Purdy stat as I've ever seen, right? Brock Purdy, when down 1 to 8 points in the fourth quarter in the regular season or playoffs, is 33 of 60 from the pocket for 402 yards, 3 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, a 57.8 passer rating, which ranks him 144th out of 160 quarterbacks with 50 throws in similar situations. Is that all Brock? No. Is that all Kyle? No. But the two of them together, with all that is around them, have been massive letdowns in fourth quarters where you're trying to come back and win a football game. They do not do it. Front runners is no longer a recommended way to describe a style of play that the 49ers have. It is the only style of play that the 49ers have. They are the biggest front-running football team, and as long as you got an early lead, that's fine. The minute you get behind the sticks, the minute you're behind in the second half, the Niners are more likely going to park in the loser's spot than the winner's spot in the Kyle Shanahan and Brock Purdy, it's their job to figure this out era. And that is concerning. When it comes to losing regular season playoff games where you've had a fourth quarter lead since Shanahan was hired in 2017, the Indianapolis Colts have lost 24 times. No one says the Indianapolis Colts are well coached or good. Kyle Shanahan has lost 22 times in that situation, and so have the Los Angeles Chargers. And again, Kyle Shanahan brings in Brandon Staley, who is as big a can't hold on to a lead in the fourth quarter kind of galactic loser as he has revealed himself to be here. I'm not saying that Shanahan is a galactic loser. I actually think he's a good football coach. But boy, this year just ain't working. My recommendations are as follows. Shut Deebo Samuel down. Don't need to see anything else from Deebo Samuel. I would almost consider shutting George Kittle down too, because we don't need to see anything more out of George. Does George have 50 football games left in him? Maybe. Let's not waste 3 of them at the end of this year. I would extend Dre Greenlaw right now. What an absolute stud. Everything De'Vondre Campbell has never been, will never be, Dre Greenlaw is. For him to come back in his first game and play like that until he finally just reached a point of soreness where he could not keep going. And that's when they turned to De'Vondre Campbell, and they're like, hey, totally healthy, underachieving De'Vondre Campbell. You got to go into the game now. And Devondre's like, nah, I didn't get to start, so I'm not playing. You fucking pussy. Beat it. Beat it. Never again. The card key does not open the garage. The card key does not open the door. Who was that with the New York Jets? They were trying to get in, and he's like, uh-oh, what if I've been cut? He can't get in the front door. That's what De'Vondre Campbell's future should be. He shouldn't be able to get in the front door of his own house. He should have to move out of the Bay Area. What a disappointing game with everything on the line. And maybe the weather was responsible for some of that, but it certainly wasn't responsible for all of that because the weather improved in that second half. I hope many of you tuned in last night to the live stream watch party that we had with John Lund. John Lund and I were supposed to do the second quarter together. We went 3 hours. We were more entertaining than that football game. I think John realized, oh man, how are you going to make it through a live stream during this game if I'm going to leave right now? So we had a great time hanging out last night. We both drank about a quarter of a bottle of whiskey last night. That was fun. An awful lot of fun. We were more entertaining than the NFL was. No doubt. Jim Everett the Great says, hit the likes, get Bruce over 100 likes. Yeah, we got over 100 people in the room. We don't even have 50 likes yet. I mean, come on, lean in, everybody. It's a thumbs up. You push the button once, it's easy. It's easy. By the way, Jim is in here rooting for the Rams. You know, Kyron Williams got to say, we're the big brother now. And Kyron Williams, he had 100 yards last night. He wasn't great, but he was good enough. And the Niners are bad enough tackling to where he kept on falling forward all evening long. Kyron Williams says after the game, quote, we're the big brothers now. Okay, you swept the season, but you swept the season by a grand total of 9 points. Like you won in week 3 by 3 points. You win in week 6 by 6, or you win in this week by 6 points, and you didn't score a touchdown. This was the lowest scoring football game of the year. I don't think that the Rams straight up sunned the 49ers last night, but they won the war of, what was nothing short of the ugliest football game we've seen all year. 18 pressures. Every single 49ers offensive lineman gave up at least 3 pressures in that game last night. Josh Dubois of the AP just had some, again, jarring stats about Brock Purdy and his inability to get things done in these last handful of games where they've really needed him. You got wide receivers who ain't popping. You got a coach who's not force-feeding the only good player he's got offensively in George Kittle. Juwan Jennings has been asked to give everything he can, asking for too much more at this point, probably too much. No McCaffrey. There goes 21 touchdowns right there. Jordan Mason was forgotten about as he was leading the NFL in rushing. Isaac Guerrero was asked to play with a sore paw last night, and he went out and he gave it his best. He really did. The 49ers didn't reach the red zone, much less the end zone. I think they topped out at the 27-yard line last night. They didn't even get into the red zone. It is the first time that has happened since a 20-3 loss to the New York Giants back in 2012. The 49ers just became the first team to lose 4 games in a row to a division opponent, having led in the fourth quarter against said division opponents. They're the first team to drop 4 similar games since the 0-16 Steve Mariucci Lions, right? I mean, that was bad back in 2008. They're the first team to lose 4 games in a division after leading by 3 or more points, and 4th since the 2020 Patriots in Bill Belichick's first year in New England. And unfortunately, when needing to be picked up by accurate, excellent quarterback play, Brock has not been able to do that. 3 of Brock Purdy's 4 lowest passing totals as a regular season starter have come in his last 4 starts. Getting held under 160 yards against Seattle, Buffalo, and now Los Angeles. Brock in elements is not a quarterback to be betting on. He just isn't. Bad. Just bad. And again, that brings us back to Deebo. In the week where Deebo Samuel was telling everybody, the only thing that's not clicking around here is this team getting me the ball. I'm still state of the art. I'm still the man. Dude, you put on tape what an absolute bullshit lie you're either telling us or yourself. The first play of the game, designed to come right to you, hits you in stride and you drop it. The biggest play of the game that the Niners needed to make, ball hits you right in the middle of the numbers in stride and you drop it. Probably was a walk-in touchdown. And then, of course, Brock, he makes the gamble downfield where he throws the back-breaking interception where you do not need to make that choice here, Brock. Part of the reason why people do see you as a franchise-level quarterback is whatever physical attributes that you may not have, you more than make up for in your ability to see the field, process the field, and play according to the down distance and situation. Brock Purdy decided to throw a YOLO ball when all he needed was to hit a totally wide open underneath Ricky Pearsall. They gave us spider cam footage of that interception, and Brock several times overlooked an open player to take the deeper shot. And sometimes that deeper shot was to Deebo. And this is where Kyle Shanahan lost the plot point. Kyle, it is not your job to awaken Deebo from his slumber. It's your job to go out and beat the Rams. And I think I'm seriously, like, Deebo cannot be put in a position where he might hurt himself, which would limit the Niners' offseason options on Deebo Samuel. I would shut him down for the rest of the year, saying, look, Deebo, you might be back, maybe not. We don't know yet. We need to think about it. And, you know, your podcast sucks too. You have a lot of time to prep for your podcast now because there's no more playing football. All you're going to do is talk football the rest of this season. So good luck with that. Again, give every single Deebo Samuel snap to Jacob Cowing from here on out. Give every single snap to Trent Taylor from here on out. Hold open auditions on a soccer field in Palo Alto today. And whoever you like the most from that open audition, give that guy Deebo snaps the rest of the season. Deebo. What's Deebo's real name again? It's time to drop the Deebo. You don't get the Deebo moniker anymore. You know, that's my bike, punk. No, there's none of that. He's not chain snatching. He's not running the hood. He's not the guy who's going to come on in and whoop everybody's ass. No more. Deebo Samuel, you are at your position, you're maybe the 50th best guy in football. You know, I'd have to look, but it can't be that much better. You've been awful. You've been awful all year long. And your podcast sucks. So go work on that. Tabor Pepper should have just worn a T-shirt that said lock in. If you're a wide receiver, just random wide receiver, lock in. Tabor's got too much class for that, I guess. What a disaster. So at least we have some good news for you. And the good news is that if you need to do a little sympathy eating, have I got the right place for you to go? Get yourself to Ike's. Do it today. Get yourself that Love Rewards app downloaded into your phone. You get a free sandwich when you sign up. You get prizes with your purchases, and you get a chance to win a trip to New Orleans, a very large football game that the Niners will not be anywhere around. But if you'd still like to go ahead and sign up for that Ike Love Rewards app and enter for a chance to win a trip for two to New Orleans, the Crescent City, and a very big game that will be played in the Superdome. Ike's has got that for you right now on the app. Maybe you don't need to eat the pain away. Niners fans, you want to drink that pain away. Dubliner West Portal is the perfect place to do it. Kenny will let you sit at his bar and just make it all better. He's got the Guinness to do that. He's got the whiskey to do that. And if you do that to excess, you got a Muni stop right out there in front of you. So no problems getting to the Dubliner West Portal. You just hop off Muni, you walk inside, you say, "What's up, Kenny? Damon told me to come in here and start drinking my pain away." He'll say, "That's a great idea. Sit down. I'm going to take care of you." And then you go across the street to Elena's. You get a delicious taco. Kind of ignore the fact that it's a little overpriced, but get a taco and then go home. And do it all on Muni. And you'll be happy that you did. We love you, Dubliner. We really, really do. And again, do not bet anymore on the San Francisco 49ers. And when you're not betting on the 49ers, I hope you're not betting on them on our partner, BetUS's website. There are much better football teams to bet on. Maybe you start betting against the 49ers over there. And when you use promo code YouTube150, you get 150% sign-up deposit bonus up to $2,000 on your very first deposit. And the year is over in terms of competing for the 49ers. And I'm not here for a fraction of their, they still got 1% chance. Technically, everyone watching right now has a 1% chance to end up one day with Farrah. No, Farrah's gone. So you got a no percent chance. Who's Taylor Swift? I know she's with Kelsey right now. But there's still a 1% chance that technically maybe you and Taylor Swift could someday get together. You will not be dating Taylor Swift. I am not here for your 1% playoff chances, 49ers. It is over. It is over. You know, did Kyle lose the locker room? No. De'Vondre Campbell has lost that locker room. You will never see him again. And honestly, the decision to never see that guy again this team should have quit on him long before he quit on the team. Really should have. He has been objectively bad all year long. Playing anyone other than him would have been the right idea. Really would have been the right idea. But nope, they maintain sticking with a bad idea, like sticking with Brendel at center has been a bad idea all year. If you can't improve upon that, what are your coaches doing with the guys who aren't your starters? Are you coaching them too? Is anybody at any point in time in the last 15 weeks of football been able to improve from where they were at the beginning of the year to where they are now in the year? And they used to be not good enough, but now they are? Because I am watching guys who were claimed to be good enough have a going everything in the wrong direction season, and they can't have their snaps taken away from them. I really don't get it. There's a lot about the 49ers have made no sense this year. No sense at all. Like, try to explain that to me like I'm an idiot. Why is this happening? Why did the minute Christian McCaffrey showed back up, Jordan Mason and Isaac Guerrero totally vanish, only to find out that, oh, those guys can actually help you. And you probably should have been playing them along with Christian McCaffrey. And maybe had you done that, there wouldn't have been too much workload on him, and he still might be playing this year. Oh, I don't know. You know, leaning on running back depth doesn't seem to be a concept that escapes every other team in football, but it continues to escape Kyle Shanahan. Damon, rookies got better. B. Lorne, you know, I would say that Dominic Pooney's rookie wall has been revealed. He's hit it. He's playing some of his worst football right now, but I like Pooney. You know, Malik Mustafa hurt. Didn't see him yesterday. It's a good rookie class. I'll give you that. It hasn't been a disappointing rookie class, but there's also an element of, if you're leaning on rookies, you're in a lot of trouble right there. Like, you can't tell me Jacob Cowing's gotten any better. You know, you can't tell me Ricky Pearsall is getting better. So as we get towards the end of the year and we start kind of reassessing who did have good or great years or not, I don't know how just across the board this rookie class has been fucking awesome we can still stick with. By the way, it's 11 a.m. Why isn't Campbell cut yet? Mike 824, great question. Again, he should have either been cut in the final transaction of the NFL Thursday or the very first transaction of this Friday, the 13th in the NFL. I don't know. I don't know. I guarantee you he cannot be allowed in the facility today, right? I mean, you cannot let that happen. If he walks in there, someone's likely to maybe punch him. So you just can't let him around this football team ever again, I would think. Mike again comes in and says, Deebo doesn't kind of suck. He fully sucks hog. Well, thank you. I don't know if you had to put the hog in there. But Deebo Samuel is a false prophet now. He's a false prophet. All that he's promising you that you will see again that he used to be, that's gone now. You throw Deebo the ball, he drops it. You hand Deebo the ball, he gets tackled quickly. That's who he is now. You ask Deebo to go get open, he can't. He is not open, and on the one occasion he was last night, he dropped the ball in full stride, even though it hit him in the belly. 49ers Ways again coming in. Thank you very much. Damon, thank you for being the best 49er media guy and keeping it real and not feeding us bullshit like most. Campbell is a straight up female puppy. I don't know about that. But he is He's not someone who should ever be allowed around a professional football team ever again. That's who he is. You know, you ain't a foxhole guy. As a matter of fact, the minute things got a little uncomfortable for you, you went right to the gynecologist. So get out of here, you pussy. Get out. Don't ever come back. Helmet, give it to me. Playbook, give it to me. Car, get in it. Drive away. We don't care what happens after that. Just don't come back. It's that easy. It's that easy to say goodbyes that are underperforming. I don't know why at all point in times this year special teams has been a problem. That was never addressed. Nick Sorensen kind of been a problem all year, ironically, until last night, where again you hold the Rams to 12 points, 0 touchdowns. That's a game you got to win at home when you need it. That's an awful lot of Dre Greenlaw showing you everybody who the fucking man is. I would work on a Dre Greenlaw extension right now. I wouldn't be worried about going forward with that guy. If that's the kind of effort you get in game number 1 back, he's still a badass. But this, again, just all went bad quickly. Chef A wants to know, how did we get so bad so fast? Is it aging? Yeah, a little bit. It's the league catching up. It's the league studying what the Niners do. It's a little bit of it's hard to go to a Super Bowl every year. This is also how the NFL historically has worked. Normally, Super Bowl losers aren't right back in the mix the following year. The Bengals lose a Super Bowl. They're back in the AFC title game. And now look at them. That's caught up with them. It's hard staying good week to week, much less season to season. It really is. What an undeniable disappointment. And the 49ers now have, 3 games left where I really hope that they lose all of these games by playing some of their younger options to see how they've developed and what they've got. And ironically, they might even have a better chance winning with the unproven young guys at this point in the year than they do the disappointing proven veterans who are proving that they're just not as good as they used to be. Deebo Samuel. I would shut down Deebo so he doesn't get hurt and can't, hamstring you with offseason options. I would shut down George Kittle and just say, George, you are too valuable going forward to be playing meaningless football. Maybe you shut down. Dude, this is okay. You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. You want to get nuts? I'm like Michael Keaton in Batman. You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. You want to dance in the devil in the pale moonlight? Shut down Brock Purdy and see what you got in 3 games out of Tanner Mordecai. Just to see if you got Tanner Mordecai on your team next year. I'm not saying that is a clear sign you're moving on from Brock, but what if Tanner Mordecai were to look really, really great over his last 3 games this year in a bad situation? And then you're saying to yourself, like, maybe, Tanner Mordecai for a song is better than Brock Purdy for an entire opera. I don't want to totally lose faith in Purdy, but man, there's some concerning numbers when it comes to his ability to come back in fourth quarters. And basically the numbers say he ain't coming back in fourth quarters. Disappointing, man. Really, really disappointing. Got another super coming in here from our man Joseph Shemaiah. Why isn't Larry or the rest of the press corps asking Kyle the same question you are? Why isn't Larry or the rest of the press corps asking Kyle the same questions you are? You just asked the same question twice. Because you're not going to get the real answer. I mean, everybody knows, hey, Kyle, do you think it'd be a good idea to shut down Deebo Samuel from here on out because you might need to just get the fuck rid of him and you don't want him to get hurt that might prevent you doing that? What do you think? Kyle's going to be like, yeah, it's a great idea. I'm glad I got it from a member of the press. Thank you so much. We'll consider it going forward. Again, everything is business as usual, right? Until it's not usual. Again, the inexplicable defense of De'Vondre Campbell's play. Did you notice that came to a screeching halt last night? You'd hear Nick Sorensen or Kyle say, yeah, he's actually better than he has been this year, and he's still our best option. The minute they felt betrayed, that was it. It was no longer business as usual. Kyle told you, we don't need to talk about that guy anymore. That sounds like whether you got cut or not physically in the transaction record yet, it's coming. It's coming. I wouldn't even let De'Vondre Campbell take a right onto, what is that? DeBartolo Way, Joe Montana Drive, whatever the fucking right off of Tasman there is. He can't. You aren't allowed in the city of San Francisco anymore, much less the city of Santa Clara. James Goss. Thank you, James, for the $5. The 1-2 punch of the 49ers performance and YouTube price increase is making it really easy to step away from this. $82.99, all nonsense. Yeah, dude, I know. That YouTube price increase jarred a lot of people. It is amazing that, 10 years ago, you were invited to cut cable for a much better, less expensive option, only to find out that if you took that option, you are now paying more than you did had you just stuck with cable. Because now you got YouTube, now you got Netflix, now you got Disney Plus for the kids. Maybe you got Amazon Prime, you got Apple Plus, and all of a sudden, the cable bill that you didn't like paying is cheaper than the now what? You got $150, $160 worth of entertainment coming in your house. It's sort of like they rigged that against us, in case you don't help but notice that. Oh, by the way, have you already seen grocery prices will not be coming down? That didn't take very long to get that rug pulled out from underneath you. A lot of people bought the bullshit. Fuck around and find out. You're all about to. Don't say I didn't warn you. But James, Joe, 49er Way, Mike, you guys, thank you so much for your... thank you so much for the super chats. Thanks to everyone who tuned in last night. Thanks to John Lund for hanging out. He was fantastic. I got nothing more to say about the 49ers other than thank God we don't have to watch them play until next weekend. I could use a break from these fucking disappointments. There's some good football on this weekend. I'll watch that. Hey, it's Klay Thompson back in the Bay Area without the funny hat giveaway. That'll happen on Sunday for the Warriors. Looking forward to this weekend. Saturday, hey, you got an Army-Navy game. And Army's a really good team. Army-Navy game on Saturday. And see what happens. It's always a spectacle. I watch about a quarter of that game. I like the way it begins. I like the national anthem. I like the pomp and circumstance. Then I like when everyone's all respectful at the end of the game and they sing both fight songs and all that. So, yeah, give me a little Army-Navy love. Sure. Give me a little Army-Navy. It's usually not a great football game, but I like what it represents. Week 15, again, underway with as dreadful of a football game as you could watch. Again, that game sucked last night. It's one thing to lose a game. It's another to waste 3.5 hours of our time. But we do have a few big games out there, like a legit Super Bowl preview, Bills versus Lions on Sunday. We got Steelers and Eagles, also a massive game on Sunday. Sunday Night Football, Packers, Seahawks. There's a big game as well. So a few big games to hopefully be entertaining games and give us something to watch this weekend. We got a pair of Monday Night Football games. Neither of them are you really want to watch them. Bears, Vikings, Falcons, Raiders. Ugh. Sunday, though, again, Warriors and Mavericks at Chase Center. And honestly, the Warriors not going to Las Vegas doesn't sound like the worst thing that could happen to this team. You'll have a big test against the Dallas Mavericks. Pretend that's your NBA Cup and just get rid of those stupid courts. Thank you again, Mike, coming in with his third super chat of the show. Plus, he was all over Wake Up. Mike, thank you for being generous. We do appreciate it during the holiday season. Kyle just told reporters that he does not expect Campbell, who refused to enter Thursday night's game, to play again for the 49ers this season. Yeah, I mean, again, you didn't need to tell us. We knew that. That's how that works. That's how that works. But of course, you'll never see him again. De'Vondre Campbell does not get invited to the reindeer games anymore when they're having their next reindeer convention. He just disqualified himself from ever pulling Santa's sled. He will never be welcome in another NFL locker room. Again, it takes your entire life to build up your reputation, and only the wrong decision in the wrong moment to totally ruin it. And De'Vondre Campbell's reputation is now a full-on everybody in the NFL hands-off for the rest of his life. This is, if he ever thought like, hey, maybe I'll coach in the league one day. No, you won't be doing that either. This ends the De'Vondre Campbell is involved in the NFL portion of his life. That's how catastrophic of a bitch-ass decision that really was. You can be a bad football player. You can't quit on your football team. One is understandable, acceptable, and we see it all the time. The other is so catastrophically rare that if you are willing to dabble, it's one of those, again, fuck around and find out. Quit on your football team and see what the NFL thinks of you going forward. Bobo, I couldn't tell the difference between Brock Purdy and Jimmy G last night. That's a problem, man. Again, Maya Ridley says Brock can't throw the deep ball. Wasn't a great night of deep ball throws last night. Going into last night's game, Brock Purdy leads the NFL in yards per attempt. In a year where you know that you've gotten nothing in terms of yards after catch. So, again, I'm not interested in what Brock Purdy can't do, because he actually does do a lot of things that people insist he cannot do. But when the chips are down, you can't play like that. You cannot throw that interception. And Brock has quite often in his young career proven himself to be part of what's going right with the 49ers. Unfortunately, over the last 4 games, 3 different times, he has been on the pile of what's not working more than he's been on the top of the pile of what is working. And of course, this goes to bad offensive line play, an injured, bad, underachieving weapons around him. But ultimately, you are the quarterback. And you are the head coach, Kyle, and you know that you wear the brunt of criticism the same way that you get to share that you are on the short list of people we say, great job, when things go right. It is just proof that there's no consistency in this league. Again, the team that you are in one half might not be the team you are in the second half of the game, much less week to week. The 49ers have played one good game all year. And that is concerning about when we talk about what is this going forward really look like. I mean, massive inventory needs to be taken of everyone, what they offer. Could they be improved upon? This is going to be a huge offseason for the Niners. There's no running this back. Not at all. It's probably, in hindsight being 2020, it was obviously a mistake to try to run it back from the Super Bowl, and running this back from a disappointing season is just, it's not an option in any way, shape, or form. Maya, you are right. Short punts and underthrown balls killed last night. Again, special teams disappointments. And poorly thrown balls a few times. We had Brock sail a couple over Deebo's head, sailed one over Kittle's head, sailed one over Juwan Jennings' head. It's hard to commit to the run when you can't even commit to a running back. Chef A, I don't want to work. I want to bang on my Johnson all day. Well, that's interesting. She doesn't have a Johnson to bang on. But I hear you. I hear you. Pissed off chat, pissed off fans. Season is lost. Are we going to do another watch party against the Dolphins? Maybe. We wouldn't call it a watch party. We'll just call it a bitch session. I guess there's nothing left but to look at today's date in history. On today's date in history, De'Vondre Campbell was never seen or heard of again. Today in 1989, my good friends, today in 1989, she was born. Taylor Swift, happy birthday. Taylor Swift is 35 years old today. Look, Taylor Swift ain't for me. I've given Taylor Swift songs a chance. I'm just not, a teenage girl or a gay man. I'm just not a big, it does not, that ain't mine, okay? But if it's for you, God bless. And there's absolutely no denying Taylor Swift's spot in the musical world. And her spot is Queen Bee. Taylor Swift is the biggest pop star on the planet. This is not debatable. This is not discussable. It is her. It is she. She just had the most consequential modern musical tour of all time. So you can't deny that. Not for me. But there's no denying her place. She is the singular queen bee of all things pop. And don't tell me Beyonce, because I don't know. Her husband might be going to jail with freaking dude. Jay-Z might have raped a 13-year-old girl. There's a lot of people going down around Puffy. Okay, start reading some details there. This Tony Busby guy that everyone's trying to blow holes in. Well, he's just an ambulance chaser. No, his ambulance actually bring patients to hospitals. I don't know, man. I ain't good. Maya, again, thank you. We always break for super chats. What do you think we should do with Deebo? Do not play him another down this year, so you have all of your off-season options open and available to you. One of those options could be retaining him. But I would not risk a Deebo injury that would handcuff you to him this offseason at all. I would not do that. So Deebo shouldn't play another snap all year. Trade him to the Cowboys. Sharkley 408. Okay. Back to today in history. Taylor Swift born today. Another very significant entertainer born today. And I guess he's got a new Netflix special out. I've had few people say, hey, Damon, he talks about a stroke. You really should watch it. Happy birthday to Jamie Foxx, born today in 1967. You call him a triple threat, but triple threat means you can sing, you can dance, you can act. This guy's also a comedian. That's quadruple threat. Jamie Foxx. I tell you, I've heard that Jamie Foxx, if you walk up to him, he might be cool to you. He not cool as in he was so cool to meet, but like Jamie Foxx is not there for his accolades or like, don't approach Jamie Foxx is something that I actually heard. Well, a couple of years ago, he was hanging out, backstage at Old Oracle Arena and during a Warriors game, and it was the NBA Finals, and Jamie Foxx was there. And like, I did go up to him. He had just won like an Academy Award for Ray or something like that. I mean, maybe not just, but anyways, Ray was still fresh on my mind. And I went up to Jamie Foxx and had a totally 100% pleasant back and forth exchange with Jamie Foxx, who in the minute that I met him was cool as shit. So don't say anything bad about Jamie Foxx not around me. I like Jamie Foxx. Talented guy. Happy birthday. He's 57 years old. And how about this? Happy 99th birthday to Dick Van Dyke. Dick Van Dyke is still with us. Turns 99 today. Some of your Dick Van Dyke memories are better than the actual performance. I'm going to tell you right now, Dick Van Dyke is maybe the worst British accent of all time in Mary Poppins. It's bad. It's bad. We've been watching Mary Poppins here in the house. I got kids. There's a lot of that's charming about Dick Van Dyke. But that English accent was just Cockney bad. Jason, PDSI. Damon, I haven't been this disappointed in a season of 49ers football since 2014. It's been bad, man. And that's the thing, man. There was a good football season to be had in this football season. Unfortunately, the 49ers just couldn't find it. That's why they're so frustrating. Just another 5 coming into the ganja jar from Jason. Thank you, Jason. Really appreciate that. Where are we today in history? How about, everybody knows Neil Armstrong, first guy to ever step on the moon. Small step for man, giant leap for mankind. Today, in 1972, we had our last step on the moon. Astronaut Gene Cernan climbed into the lunar lander, prepared to take off. He was the last man to set foot on the moon. Isn't it a little weird that we have not been back? Like, I'm not a big conspiracy theorist guy. I'm not one of those, we never actually landed on the moon guys. I don't know, though. Why haven't we been back? It feels like something we would have done. It feels like there's more technology to land on my moon in my iPhone than there was the original lunar lander. Like, it should only get easier here now, right? I don't know. I don't know about that one. We're going to go way back for this one. Today in 1545, we had the Council of Trent. No, not that Trent. Not Trent Baalke. It was the Council of Trent, which was the 19th Ecumenical Council of the Roman Catholic Church, which helped revitalize the church. Basically, the religion that was invented was really invented right there. There's a lot of religion that is not true. At the Council of Trent, it's one of their, all right, let's officially get our fucking story straights moment. And so that you had the Council of Trent. Then there was a Council of Nicaea. I know more about religion for a guy who's not particularly religious than most. And again, the harder you look at it, the more it gets difficult to understand. But here's something that I did understand and certainly spoke to me. Oh, by the way, super chats always speak to me. And we have another one right here. Should we trade Bosa? We need to pay Dre and dude, everything's on the table. Yes, I would consider a trade of Nick Bosa this offseason if it returned what you need. Because what we're getting out of Nick Bosa has to be determined. That ain't good enough. It's not good enough. It's good that he got out there. Like, appreciate the effort. On a night where he's still got an oblique and a hip, he's out there at least playing, while De'Vondre Campbell is literally walking off the field, quitting on a football season. You bitch. I loved radio when radio was dangerous, and there was no one more dangerous who was trying to find the tightrope that you can and cannot walk on, like Howard Stern in the early 90s. Today, in 1992, the FCC fined Infinity Broadcasting more than $500,000 over the things that Howard Stern had said. $600,000 for broadcast by Howard Stern. And instead of shutting Howard Stern down, Infinity paid that fine. I don't think a single radio company has $600,000 just laying around anymore. But they paid that fine, and Howard's legend grew right there. Like, when there used to be adults in the room who knew how radio worked, it was spectacular and glorious. Now everybody's just cheap and stupid, which is why it's so good to have you here. Thank you so very much for coming on by. Otis Bird, pig vomit. Yes, there you go. Baba Booey. Baba Booey. Good times, man. Good times. Good times, good, but they're fleeting. A good time can come and go, where a good sandwich lasts forever. Like, you can order a brand new Damon Bruce every day of your life for the rest of your life if you are around Ike's. I will never not be there for you. I will never be under 1,430 calories either, because I'm a big fat boy and my sandwich represents as much. Get your Damon Bruce at Ike's. Do it today. You'll be happy that you did. Get to the Dubliner to drink your cares away, worries for another day. Thank you very much to our good friends at the Dubliner West Portal, the best Guinness pull you will find in San Francisco. And when you're not betting on the Niners, make sure you don't bet on them with our good friends over at BetUS. Use promo code YouTube150 to not bet on the 49ers anymore this year and get 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000 as you are again, and I cannot stress this enough, not betting on the 49ers. Michael, you are right. The Damon Bruce sandwich will never refuse to get on the field unless it's taking a nap. You are right, though. The Damon Bruce sandwich plays. The Damon Bruce sandwich quits on no meals. Thank you for never quitting on us. Thank you for coming back once again. Every day this week, you were here at 11, and I thank you so much. Thank you for tuning in to the watch party. Thanks again to John Lund for joining. That was an awful lot of fun. Again, never watch that game again. You know, most every single 49er game, I go back and I watch it again to pick up things, to deliver more information. I will never watch that game again. My time is too precious to sit through that poop sock fight. It really was. Like two world leaders standing in the middle of the ring, hitting each other over the head with poop socks, which is a sock filled with poop. In case you couldn't follow along. I think most of you did. Folks, I hate to say it, but we have now ended the concept of maximum football. We're probably not pushing that button again until, I don't know, will we do a watch party for the Super Bowl? I guess the Super Bowl is technically maximum football. Indiana, Notre Dame next Friday? Maximum! Yes. Indiana, Notre Dame. That'll be our next dive into maximum football. But for the 49ers, that shit's over. That's over. The best thing they can do is play the kids, lose their final 3 games, make sure nobody consequential forward gets hurt, and get to this offseason as fast as you can, because there's nothing to save or salvage in this season. It's already 2025 for the San Francisco 49ers. It really is. That's disappointing. Thank you very much for tuning in. You are all my kind of people. Have a great weekend. Seriously, have an awesome weekend. Thank you for being here. Oh, real quick, 49ers way, the Damon Bruce sandwich is great. I'm glad you got that in. There are sometimes a very, very late super comes in and we miss it. I'm glad you got that one in under the wire. 49ers ways. Thank you. You are awesome. I appreciate all of you very, very much. Have a great weekend. Take a break from football, unless you're watching one of those 3 really good NFL games that are coming up this weekend. Just take a break from the 49ers. Maybe it's time for all of us to have a little De'Vondre Campbell and just walk away for a little while. But we're not going to quit. There's no quit over here. Thank you very much for tuning in. And please do remember that sports don't build character. They reveal it. And like that, he is gone. Whew.